I have to notice that while I am discovering monarchy as a critical momentum when it is in question, when are in question temples and DNA protocol, which clearly have not been forgotten in all of this time, I have to notice that the protocol continue to exist in reduced quality environment rather than to be other way around. And that is what will need to be today criticized. It has become very easy to find there the entire protocol because it was driven too much on the family aspect, driven too much in family perspective rather than in perspective to actual individuals. And that is main issue with the protocol itself. Also, it is a bit miscomprehension actually about how the entire protocol should be understood and how should be maintained. That is all because it has not been followed King Arthur or Excalibur or King Arthur reference, at least on the main parameters of trying to speak about exceptionalism, about exceptional personal features, rather than to drive it on the scale of entitlement and as a collective bargaining of larger groups of population where protocol actually ended as we speak. It has been it prevailed here interest, collective interest, and interest of group or of society versus the concept of the protocol itself. And what is the message of that protocol? And that is that individual matter. And today I have awakened in literally catastrophe of someone making much more big presence out of collective, out of territories, and out of families than out of personal performance. And that is completely entire protocol being upside down. Well, I'm not going to find my family members higher position than myself. That is absurd. What kind of logic that is? What kind of logic that is? Can any protocol be called protocol on such circumstances? That stops being a protocol. It's a violation of protocol. That is violation of the protocol itself. The main parameters of the protocol is what kind of job is about to, it is happening here, what kind of function that is, how critically important that function is as precedes any other function on the planet, and how critically that is to be connected to personal features of the one that is supposed to, that is to provide that level of functioning in any given time. And this kind of political polarization is equally unnatural. On one same planet, to have such sharp political polarization is simply unacceptable and hard to be understood. Territories should be monitored as a matter of how to attend them, not how to run away from responsibility to administrate them. So we have critical momentum here of what protocol all it should be about, being broken as well. Broken, the critical momentum of broken protocol is also in losing out of perspective what that function is all about. When it is in question Europe also, it will need to be noticed that marriage of Monaco and France was prevented in a given history. At my time, someone just prevented the marriage of Monaco with France. Why that has been prevented? Would we not have been having here very much sensation of British kind of isolation versus the body of platform as it is France, an opportunity to administrate the territory with sense of isolated approach. It's perfect combination, Monaco and France. Why it has been prevented? And by whom? Well, I'm going to return when you question Europe because we have to return to Europe. I mean, we lived it. We lived England enough. It remains, it was a matter of problem here, Scotland, Ireland. I think that's going to be now, it has become a bit more resolved. And when I think about it, it was equally clogged momentum that needed more music for clarification. I think we have managed to make very strong discussion on that particular problem that exists between, especially Northern Ireland and the rest of the territories, where we have similar syndrome as in Kosovo, and some kind of sandwich situation going on here. So at least it has been addressed. At least it has been pointed out that it connects to some other kind of story, and it is matter of some kind of qualitative benchmark after all. So it is going to be easier now to move on the territories and bring your arguing and your presence with higher degree of confidence and international connection. We have managed to do that. I will imagine, I'm going to assume that in case of Monaco and France, remain to be very much question of going in Europe and starting to handle Europe as a European perspective. And I'm going to find that challenge of our present and future, returning to Europe and managing Europe with more serious approaches, and in the same time managing the planet, as the only way how we can manage the planet is by being in Europe. As in Europe happened, this civilizational platform of few millenniums. And we as a world continue. And if I'm teacher, and if we are going to teach civilization, not to manage it, but to teach it, then would it be about you bringing yourself on my territories, or it is about me going on your territories? That is to what we are going to return. As of now, I can see you have been much more willing to open doors to various international capitals that have been treating you nothing better than imperial platform before. I'm not going to command the imperial platform either, because for quite some time it was driven by these Jewish and pro-Jewish Palestinian or Serbo-Macedonian or Japan-China initiating a platform of Red Rose or whatever rose. So it somehow overrides any other story on the planet. And today we all need to resolve first that most principal question of protocol human itself on this planet. And by declaring that as our main issue, we become closer to each other and challenged equally with issues that fall equally hard on each of the territories. So we have found some common ground here on planetary levels, as a world and as a humanity. And then we are going to notice where each of the territories are as we speak, what is their capacity and potential to assist this reform, and what are the challenges from their personal perspective that we need to assess and look forward to development of the entire planet. But being underdeveloped and opening doors to whatever and whoever is not a way to get out from misery. Let's understand that as well. And let's be more careful how you're going to make your next move now. Especially if you have been found associated to the biggest gang cartels overtaking political socialism under the name of socialism platform as a gang cartels. I'm not going to salute to any of it anytime soon. And you may call yourself triple bricks if you want. I'm not saluting to it. End of discussion. And without me, this planet is not going to roll anytime soon. Now that's the mathematics of the situation. Now think carefully. Now, as I understand, the new man wants to bring the revenge forward, and they are employing that by splitting territories to all the new world and bringing everyone from a new world into new and everyone from old world into old. And I have argued already many times that that is wrong approach. We talk here about generations, not about territories. The territory is Earth. When you speak new and old, it is generation, the time, and don't give me time is absolute. When you zoom it as much as you need to zoom it in certain realm, then becomes relative to the territory and events happening on the territory. Or we are talking about that time. No, we are talking about new wave, new generations versus old generations. I think that's quite straightforward, and it would be wrong to think in any other way. Simply, it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be mistaken. We have to solve the problem of humanity on this planet, not to continue to provide for indulged society, to continue to indulge and complain on their unperfect perfection. I'm going to assume that it's much easier to do what they want to do, but it's going to solve us really not much of anything. This is not simple legal case. It's a question of human protocol, of the protocol itself, of human protocol itself. It's a question of the realm itself. It's not some kind of political arguing. It is beyond political arguing. And I think I have detected it in most correct terms, and I have posted the position. I have set the problem in most correct terms. So yes, I'm going to find this as a matter of generational question, not political question. Generational in terms of how you consider new men versus old men, how you see new men, concept new men versus old men. It's majorly associated to the times, the vibe of the times, the vibe itself, this level of energetic configuration, actually. And then, of course, comes about mental configuration, and that is where you bring conversation forward, and that is what I'm doing here. So yeah, let's understand this properly. Already, it's good news is that somewhere in America or wherever, someone started to talk about world. So the planet is already accommodated to think of Earth as one event. as a realm, even as a political platform. We just need to comprehend that that does not translate that much into American political interest on first place. But planet comes on first place entirely. Or in other words, words should not be used in wrong way. Words should be used in correct way. And if certain words does not resemble the actual situation, I can imagine some kind of national political presentation is going to make sense, but on international ground it's going to devalue the nation. And no one would like, I mean, who would like to get higher national points and then lose international rating in times where international rating is critically important? I mean, you cannot make trade-off here with your words, and then complain why your words not have enough effect. Well, you're not using them wisely. In times where international gathering is the most important event on the planet, you don't use national language. It's not enough. It's not wise enough. You cannot say America first in times where everyone is against America. And you're looking for international allies. And then America continued to consider that as the most correct language of the times. Well, something here doesn't work. What doesn't work is not admitting or accepting that this world will need to be reconfigured in different way. And that today the real rhetoric would be America is part of the world. You don't have to point out the importance of America. That's evident. You have to talk about what's not evident, or what has not been properly developed and not properly worked out in previous times. If you want to make your step forward, you have to make it actually. You have to make that step forward. And step forward is to say that America has noticed the world. Then you can say, I have made step forward. Or otherwise, you don't say something like that. You are not making step forward as Americans. And that is where would fall the entire philosophy of how you understand the new generation, the new wave, and the new and the problems of the new world by splitting the planet on two halves. Well, the situation is more complex than that. And we are not little kids in a left alone home or a kindergarten or wherever. Also, it's wrong to call yourself kids. I'm going to repeat again, that's generational event. There are kids being born in every single second of a time all across the planet. They're all kids, heavy dependent on what this planet is going to do for another day, no matter where they get born. And also theory that this is to be narrowed now as a problem to few people or to some kind of central small group of population is absolutely wrong approach, because the fact is that we talk about a planetary issue, and initially setting a planet in wrong as a planet. Today the one that is polluted is actually everyone else but the center, because the center is innocent. What has been polluted is the 3/4 of the planet. Accordingly, because they have been accepting to drive on wrong premises, they have been accepted to spread the wrongdoing in such huge numbers. We have 3/4 of the planet completely polluted. And if you want to talk about dirt, now that is what size of dirt we talk. 3/4 of the planet is dirty. Yes, correctly. Because it was compromising and accepting compromised affairs to participate and be part of. And you all should be ashamed today making this mainstream of civilizational platform. It is accordingly a problem for the World Bank and for United Nations and for nothing less than that. So stop driving this as your own event. This requires now much more professional approach, much more skillful people to discuss the matter. Stop driving it on collective. As a collective, you're in wrong. Clarification of most general levels, because I have noticed that my work has become matter of attention to all the levels of population. I would clarify that my presence, my eternal absolute existence, would be associated with upper levels of that would be principal civilizational. I have recognized it as a monarchical platform because it is not exactly religious. We established that religion is actually has been very much taken out of life, have been outside it, and I'm very sorry that one caste of people have spent their life literally imprisoned in these dark buildings and have been submitted very often to various um, molestations. Religion is not an absolute definition for absolute levels anymore. It's going to be monarchy because it is much more life related. And then I want to add up, we talk about highest level of human performance. We talk about highest moral, ethical, and capacity level, professional levels in terms where we talk about absolute or more comprehensive management of life dimension in any aspect that we would recognize as it is level where we talk top level of pyramid when it comes to managing humanity and all of the vital questions that are important for managing protocol humanity and managing protocol earth. Therefore, that as to what my dimension associates, that is where I would belong in reincarnations and the present performance I deliver here. And therefore, when you want to relate to me on personal level, that's not going to be your choice, personal choice. That's going to be matter of your comprehension to whom you are to relate, and it as in a consequence of that, it would be on me to clarify and indicate how you should be relating to this work that I deploy on surface of this earth. Therefore, it would be rather military platform than civil platform. And then we come to the level of uniforms and much more uniform behavior, much more protocolary behavior, and in a context, in a given context. Here we are going to notice from national perspective, nothing starts from national perspective. It starts from planetary perspective, then it's a regional perspective, then it's national perspective. And that is to be understood properly and respectfully. When it comes to uniforms, therefore, it's going to be very much a reference to what color of uniforms we would be talking about. As for example, when Serbia relates to me or Serbia wants to talk to me, it's going to be Serbia in uniform, and I can only talk about what kind of uniform, what color of uniform Serbia would be having. That would be dark blue uniform. Goes to Serbia. Macedonia is getting more kind of closer to lighter blue uniform. Would go to Macedonia. It's reference older son, younger son. More sensitive, more need more of a protective tissue, and as a result develops into more this level of philosophical, much more sensitivity-driven platform, where we get point of amphitheater. Serbia darker uniform, that is where I rather prevail. It is more hardcore platform. It is where you jump on the stage. It is the game get harsher. It is more. I'm not going to call it wild field, but it is field where you have to jump first. Your older brother, you have to jump first, and you have to survive, and you have to win. So you have to be wise. You have to be in control, and you have to be brilliant. You have to be brilliant. My answer is brilliance walks first and highest above. And in the centuries and centuries and millenniums, when you jump first and you need to survive, you have to learn how to be brilliant. That's my definition of Serbia. Goes in dark blue. Goes in dark blue. And I'm proudly standing on that side in prevalence. Light blue is what I want to protect. Let's clarify that properly. Next, Croatia. Uniform of Croatia goes more on aquamarine level. Aquamarine more reference to lagoon. It's closer to Macedonia. It is what it is. Slovenia. Dark green. Equal as Bosnia, equal as Montenegro. Montenegro would be having more dark blue and something between dark blue and dark green. Bosnia would be having dark green. Slovenia would be having dark green because Slovenia wants to play safe, wants to walk closer to Central Europe. You get dark green, Slovenia. This is an example how I talk to you. I mean, what you get when you start talking to me. You start talking to me when you mentally start getting yourself into some kind of relation with my character. That is what you get. Very strict formation, very strict behavior, very strict direction. Verdict for today. Now let's allow yourself to start thinking what kind of uniform your army would be having. That is going to make you to think how you should be thinking about your nation. What you should be and what you should stick to. And what should be your lighthouse. And you never get yourself lost that much. Answer to yourself what kind of uniform, what color of uniform your nation does have, and notice the color of that uniform. You have to notice it. As for example in France, today you have not answered what is France. Is it going to be Marie Antoinette or is it going to be Joan of Arc? Well, we are not going to fight over it in 21st century. That should be answered by now. What kind of uniform, for example, France is going to have? Or what kind of uniform France is having? Is it some kind of light green? I think they should be replaced with dark aquamarine. Dark aquamarine. I would bring blue in vision, in mental perspective, and would bring need to bring blue on the continental stage. That is mixed with green and becomes aquamarine. Dark, well, because uniform would not go exactly good in light aquamarine. Aquamarine need to get a bit more serious and more military, obviously, aspect in order not to end up to be Saint-Tropez going on the beach color. So it would be aquamarine dark. But what's going to tell you? It's going to tell you that it's very much associated to Adriatic, to Mediterranean Sea. It is connected to the blue dimension. As that is what Joan of Arc is. Joan of Arc is blue. Marie Antoinette is green. France made one hell of a history in all of the times. I would say France prevailed on Joan of Arc color, which is blue. I give respect to the green yellow France. I give respect to it. You get aquamarine. Dark aquamarine. I'm giving you an example how you should be thinking about your uniforms. And that is not light question. Because also it reminds equally as your flag. What are the coordinates in which exist your national identity? And it doesn't come usually in one color. If that does not come in one color in your flag, on your flag, well then it does not come on one color on the streets. And you have to know how to coexist. You have to know how to understand each other and how to integrate, so you make that music and it looks like a beautiful, nice music, not as something that is just demonstrating some kind of failure to synchronize. But then you want to play anthem out there to the world. But you fail to synchronize. And you're waiting someone to come from outside to synchronize you? Well, yeah, I came. You cannot say exactly that I'm outsider, isn't it? Yet, I'm not that much outsider to any of you, as you can see. How you're going to call that? Miracle? Well, you call it miracle for a starter. Well, it's nothing wrong with it. It's not that you have not heard the word before. Oh, yeah, now you're skeptical of the actual existence of the words? Come on. When you use that often a word, you should believe in it as well.